Hey everyone. Okay, so basically, as we have almost done all the topics of this chapter, and the last topic of your class 8 history, chapter number 3, ruling the countryside, is the Blue Rebellion and after. And it's the main and the last and a very, very important topic in our history. Okay, in this chapter also as well. So basically, we are gonna complete this topic in this video. So this topic would take some little time, little longer time. So have patience and let's begin. But before beginning, I want to tell you, if you have any doubts, any comments, anything, then please comment down in the comment section so that I would definitely respond to your queries or clear your doubts as soon as possible. And also, in the end of the video, I'm gonna give you an homework question, means a question that you have to comment down in the comment box. All right. Okay, so I hope all of your energy has already boosted up to study, so let's get study. Okay, so in the Blue Rebellion, first thing comes here that in the March 1859, Blue Rebellion rose up. Okay, got raised up. So in the March 1859, Blue Rebellion raised up. All right, and why? What was in this Blue Rebellion? Is it related to indigo? Yes, it is definitely related to indigo. So the riots who got pissed off, who refused to work in the plantation farming farms and to grow indigo anymore, they refused, and that is why they rebelled again the Britishers, again the planters, again the indigo planters. Okay, so remember the date, that is March 18, okay, 59. That was the date. Now, second thing comes that those now you may got the idea of blue rebellion because indigo produces blue color, so that is why it is called as blue rebellion, or you can also say indigo rebellion, but blue rebellion is a specific term given by the historians. Okay, so in the riots, so in this rebellion, riots refused to work. So whoever came to their way or opposed them or protested them, they just killed that person, kill that man, and or denied that man or collapsed that person. Okay, so now me how why from where did they thought that they should refuse, they should not work, as they also had the idea, they may also had this idea before, but at that time they felt that they have support of local zamindars and village headmen and local zamindars. They got this idea by, as local zamindars and village headmen were also supporting them somehow, and they also don't want to grow indigo in their fields, so they also didn't want their own riots of peasants or laborers to work in someone else's field. Okay, so this was another reason, and the first reason was that they got pissed off the work they did, or uh, they don't want to work anymore because it was really tiring throughout the year for them. Okay, so these were the two reasons. Now coming to the next point, there in this topic, in this paragraph, there are two terms, gamasthas and lathials. So gamasthas, what are gamasthas? Agents of planters who used to come to collect rent from peasants. Agents of planters who come to collect rent from peasants, who used to come to collect rent from peasants. Okay, so this is gamasthas. I hope you got. The definition is agents of planters who came to collect rent from peasants. Now, who were the lathials? The lathi wielding strong men maintained by planters for riots to work. Here also the definition is mentioned, the lathi wielding strong men maintained by the planters. Okay, so basically, lathi wielding, what is lathi wielding? The person who is handling lathi, the person who has lathi. So basic lathi, what is lathi? Lathi is a strong stick. So the planters hire some man or some person to hold a lathi to get a long stick with him and supervise the riots and the peasants, that how they are working, and if someone is not working properly, so their work is to beat that person up, beat that riot up. So this was their work. So they also killed a lot of lathials and gamasthas. Those riots, the rebelling riots, killed both of them. Okay, now coming to the next part, that is here. Now, basically, at that time, they somehow, the riots were also thinking that Britishers are also in support of them. Means the British government is also in support of them. British planters are not. Okay. So, and how did they? Why did they felt this? Because they actually felt this because the lieutenant governor of the Indigo district stored in 1859 winters. Remember, in the winters of 1859. So basically, Britishers don't do this stuff to please their people, or to confident, or to assure their people that they are not being assaulted. They don't do that. Assure not their people, assure Indians. So they don't usually do this, but they did. Why? Can you guess the reason? If you guess the reason, then please comment down. And by the way, I'm gonna tell, leave it, okay? So basically, in 1857 revolt. So after 1857 revolt, Britishers don't didn't wanted didn't want that any of other revolt, people's revolt, should broke out. That is why the lieutenant governor was pressurized by the government, and lieutenant governor had to tour into the Indigo districts, because if he ignored this topic, if he would have ignored this topic, then this blue rebellion was also coming to a very very big highlights, and this also may lead to a big people's revolt. Okay, so that is why the lieutenant governor of Indigo districts had to go into the Indigo districts to see what is the condition of laborers and peasants. So when he went in 1859 winters, just after 2 years of 1857 revolt. So this was a sign of sympathy for peasants. Peasants saw this as a sign of sympathy. Okay, so now the thing is, now here the name of that lieutenant governor was Ashley Eden. Okay, so on your screen, I have shown you the picture of Ashley Eden. So Ashley Eden, he was the lieutenant governor who toured into the Indigo districts in 1859 winters. So in Barasat, he was the magistrate Ashley Eden. He take out a notice after watching the conditions of 18 riots. So he take out a notice, he published a notice that no riots will be compelled to accept Indigo contract. Means no riots will be forced to accept Indigo contracts. If they want, they would sign that contract. If they didn't want, they would not. So this was Ashley Eden's notice. This person's notice. Okay. So he take out this notice, and also Queen Victoria, the Queen of Britain, declared that Indigo need not be sown in India anymore. Queen Victoria didn't want any more indigo in India to be grown anymore. Okay, so she also declared this, and where this whole thing happened, this whole thing happened in Barasat. Barasat. Okay, so here this whole thing happened. Now coming to the next part, that we can't here specify the Ashley Eden's, the Indigo districts basically, because Indigo districts in the 19th century expanded, so we can't specify it. So here just in part of India was under Indigo district, I would like to tell you. So the Blue Rebellions people didn't came into the 1857 revolt because of the distance or because of the, you know, lack of knowledge or lack of awareness. So because of such or any more reasons, they didn't get involved in the 1857 revolts. So Blue Rebellion people get separated till 1859. Then they got the notice from Ashley Eden and Queen Victoria. Okay. Now the thing is, as rebellion spread, Calcutta protesters. So, as Calcutta protesters, basically Calcutta protesters rushed into the Indigo district, know what is happening to their Indian people. The protesters, the Calcutta, intellectuals, here the term intellectuals is mentioned because of the people who used to do rebellions and used to do protests during the British period in the 19th century. So those people came into Indigo districts to see what's the condition of riots, and also they wrote a lot of big texts, or we could say a lot of, you know, they wrote about the misery of riots and a lot of things in their books or pamphlets and else. Okay. Now here's a word meaning also means, here's a term placate. What does placate means? Shant tusht karna. Okay. So may you are able to see here that yes, here. So basically, uh, just a second. So यहाँ पे है ये तुष्ट करना. ओके. या फिर आप कह सकते हो इसके आगे ही संतुष्ट. That is the meaning of placate. Now the final thing comes that government protected its planters by giving military to them. Actually, now, because of this rebellion, worried by the rebellion, the government also provided military to to their planters so that they won't get hurt or they won't get any kind of uh, harm due to any kind of rebellion in India. Okay, so they also provided military to them and also asked Indigo Commission. So basically, for the to placate, or you can say to satisfy Indians, the government also asked Indigo Commission to inquire in the case. Okay, to inquire in this case. So basically, at that time, a commission for the indigo production, the whole world has made an indigo commission at that time, and a lot of countries were involved in it. So Britain was also involved in it. So Indigo Commission came into India and inquired about the case, and they found planters literally guilty and asked riots to complete the existing contracts and right to refuse to the planters. They said that the planters are literally guilty here. They have their whole fault is of planters, and secondly, they also told riots that they should just complete their existing contracts. Existing means the contracts in which they are working right now, and then they may refuse or wanna do or wanna pursue any kind of contract or not wanna do. They can definitely say without any hesitation. Now, this whole thing happened, this Blue Rebellion. After this, indigo production shifted from Bengal to Bihar. So, Britishers, you know what? Um, you could say, मैं ऐसे हिंदी में कहूँगी, वो नहीं होता कि लातों की भूत बातों से नहीं मानते. In the same way, Britishers were the same. So after this whole thing, Blue Rebellion happened, they shifted the indigo production from Bengal to Bihar, because from if they would do anything in Bengal, the intellectuals and other would get to know about this. So that is why, and maybe there were some other reasons. So they shifted their indigo production after that. Now the business got expanded after having synthetic dyes in market. Means, so basically the business of indigo production literally got expanded after some years in India. Maybe, and there was also an obstacle or hinder, that is that in the market synthetic dyes, German company, Germans also introduced synthetic dyes in the market, and they were also on a huge popularity at that time in the whole world market. And that is why synthetic dyes were an obstacle, as there was a competition between synthetic dyes and indigo. But still people would like to have indigo. Still the business got expanded in India. Now, in 1915, here the Mahatma Gandhi topic is a very short topic about Mahatma Gandhi in this last paragraph. So basically, in 1915, okay, in 1915, Mahatma Gandhi, just a second. In 1915, Mahatma Gandhi came from South Africa to India. Okay, he came from South Africa to India. All right. Now, as he came from South Africa to India, he just toured in the whole India first in the first year of his his visit. Then he entered in Champaran. Champaran was one of the Indigo districts. Champaran was one of the Indigo districts, and Champaran he entered into the Champaran in which was in Bihar in 1917. He came in Champaran in which year? In 1917, and from there, after 1917, Champaran movement began. Okay, Champaran Satyagraha movement began from which year? 1917. So Mahatma Gandhi entered in Champaran. Again, the situation of riots came to the same one as before, as before the Blue Rebellion. So in Bihar as well, but they didn't know how to do this. So that is why he came in Champaran and asked all the riots to come and join the Champaran movement to begin this movement. And this movement got a high and a very huge level of popularity in India. Okay, so here our topic ends, and now we are ended by this topic. Here is the elsewhere indigo making in the West. In this whole picture, it's just about the this picture is of Caribbean Islands. This picture is of about Caribbean Islands, and it is shown how in Caribbean Islands indigo production was used to be done. And this is end of this, and here is the source 3. It's just about if you want to learn or if you may get to know. So basically, here is a view of opinion of Hadji Mullah, who was the riot in India who used to do indigo cultivation. So in indigo commission, he got an opportunity to go into indigo commission office, or to have a view. He shared his view over indigo commission, that in indigo commission, that in spite of indigo cultivation he would rather like to beg in some foreign country. Okay, so this shows that how bad, how worse condition was of indigo cultivators. So that is it in this topic. I know it's literally a long one, but it is a very important one. It will definitely come in your exams. So you have to be totally you have to get this topic totally. And if you have any doubt, any, just comment down. And yes, coming to our homework question, or you can say, yeah, homework question. So basically, in this homework question, I'm gonna tell, okay. So the question is a very simple one. I know you are gonna answer in a very short time, in just a seconds, but still, I wanna ask it from you. So our homework question is, okay. So the question is, all right. So here's the question. that who was the lieutenant governor of Indigo, Indigo districts. I'm sorry for my handwriting, but that is why I'm also dictating uh, simultaneously. So, who was the lieutenant governor of Indigo district in 1859? Okay, who was the lieutenant governor of Indigo district in 1859? So, this is your homework question. Comment down in the comment section what's the answer of this question. Okay, so that is it. This whole chapter is gonna is ended now, and in the next video you have to check out the next video in the channel, on the channel Historia. So you would get a MCQ session in that channel, in my on my channel. You'll get a MCQ session on my channel, and you have to definitely attend that, because in that session you are going to get a very important questions which will definitely come in your examinations, and they are literally very important. Okay, mainly you have to be well prepared, or you don't even have to learn anything from your books, or you have to read your books, because this chapter I've already explained you this much that you don't even know it, you don't even have to revise it once. But please, definitely before exams you should revise it. Okay, so that is it. Bye, have a good day.